I always let the why steer that, but I never wait to communicate.
It's like good enough, so you gotta be great, and I'ma do whatever it takes. Doing what I love in life, and I'll pay the price, and not stopping even if the shit kills me, even if it kills me.
Okay, shoot.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to MattGron Talks. You are watching episode 164, and my name is Mattias Gronborg, aka MattGron, and here I share my scale-up journey, building my company from nothing to something. And of course, with me as usual, my dear friend and co-host, Svea-Malina Landshoff. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mattias. Welcome to MattGron Talks. This is where entrepreneurship runs smack into reality. And this is also where I keep track here on our topic so that we stay focused. And we speaking of like keeping track, we actually have a whole framework in place because we actually publish 3 episodes every week in case you're new here, every Monday, Wednesday, and on Friday. And we do have a framework in place. Mattias, do you want to share the framework?
Yes, we have a framework to make this show run like a clockwork. So every Monday we talk about self-development, and I share my journey growing as a human being and a leader. And then every Wednesday I share everything I'm learning in the entrepreneurial process, grinding to build this company day by day. And then every Friday I talk about all the things that happened during the week, and I share my weekly self-inventory, and that means there will be some self-reflection about what I have learned, and we are also celebrating the victories.
Best part of the Friday episode, in my opinion.
Yes, that's the framework.
Thank you.
Please take it away, Svea. We have the Wednesday episode coming up, and everyone, they are so curious. What have Svea-Malina Landshoff prepared for us today?
Okay, so everyone, our topic for today is communication. And yes, wait, hold up. I know we have talked about communication, but not from this angle. Because, I mean, we all know how important communication is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mattias, you said that a lot of times at different occasions. Communication is important, and we know that. But, from a practical point of view, there are so many different ways I feel you can communicate in private life, but also in business life. And first of all, before I go more into depth, I want to know from you, what kind of communication channels do you use on a daily basis as the CEO of a company? Tell us.
I'm kind of a modern person, so I'm into this smartphone thing.
Okay. So I guess you use that. You use emails, I guess.
Okay. Yes.
Slack.
I use emails. Yeah, I'm emailing a lot. I'm also using Slack for a lot of our internal communication. I actually do a lot of phone calls. I meet people face to face.
And that brings me actually to my next question. I was just trying to sort out in the beginning here the basic facts. Yeah, what are we dealing with? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I use all of them.
Okay, you use all of them. And you also said you also just talk to people, pick up the phone. What's your personal favorite way of communicating to people? Because I know we all have different preferences there.
Which is your favorite channel?
Writing.
Writing.
Yeah, I think we'd also talked about that before, that I don't know, on the phone, I don't know, I don't really get to the point, or I feel I don't know, I just feel I can express myself best when I can write everything down, because I know, okay, everything I want to say I wrote down and I didn't miss anything, and then there you go. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. For me, I just prefer that, but I think you are more of a phone person. Could that be you like calls and talking?
I would. The best answer for me is that I let the why steer my communication.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Channel.
What do you mean?
I mean, if something is of the more emotional, important character, I always address people directly. I never write that in an email, because it will, even if you get everything in there, there will be impossible to address the why in the same way. My answer to your question is I let the why steer the channel I talk.
Yeah, I think also when you are writing, then sometimes you can really misunderstand the tone. Maybe that's the thing. It's also a bit on the end of the receiver, how they interpret something. Maybe you mean something in one way, but on the other end it comes across very differently than you intended, and vice versa. So I think that's good what you're saying there, that depending on also the topic, and I think especially if it's more like a delicate topic or like very personal topic, I think it's definitely a good idea to speak eye to eye to people, right?
It doesn't need to be eye to eye. It could be a phone call.
Okay, so
and I always let the why steer that, but I never wait to communicate, because very often when I coach people, I hear that, oh, we haven't had a chance to talk yet, you know, and you know, even if the best case would be that you were face to face and you had a conversation. But I mean, if you can't wait for 2 weeks, then you need to try, you know, another option, a phone call, or, you know. So I think we live in a time where we never need to like wait to actually communicate things. And you could simply say, hey, I just, it might be better if we talk face to face, but I just want to say this now because it's important.
Yeah.
I think that the reason, that's what I mean when I say why. And then I think it's also important that speed is everything. So sometimes if there is not an option to sit down face to face, then you need to use the phone.
Yeah.
And maybe send a text message first. Hey, we need to talk.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing that you're saying there, because I think I'm personally guilty of that, of maybe waiting too long sometimes to communicate something, because, you know.
But why stop there? Why are you waiting?
Now you're coaching me, Mattias. I think for me personally, I think I also shared that before in an episode. I just hate conflicts and I don't want to upset anyone. And then I just feel like, let's wait a bit with that, or I'll do it another time. And that's
but what happens then? What happens then?
Yeah, then I think you just get probably more frustrated if there's a problem. And that's not helping anyone either. So I think this is a really good tip that you're saying. It's simple, but something that maybe more people have to do, like me included. Just if there's something up, then just solve it right away. And I think this will save you a lot of like headache in the future if you solve things right away.
Yeah, I don't know how it is for you, but for me, if I wait, I have a tendency to build up things in my own head, and you know, I'm going around, so I'm kind of already having a conversation with yourself, the person and myself in, you know, here in my head, and the other person is still clueless, but I'm getting more and more frustrated, and suddenly, you know, when I'm trying to write that email, it doesn't really come out well, maybe. And I think we live in a time where there is no reason to wait. Starting a conversation, addressing something, you can start in one channel and you can finish it up face to face or whatever. And I always let the why steer that in the right direction. And I think that's what I do. And I'm not a saint, you know, I'm not perfect. I always learn around this important topic, as you said in the beginning. Communication. That's what we are talking about
here today. And I have one more question, Mattias.
Episode 164.
We're not done yet. I have one more question. Okay. Because also, now we talked, you know, a lot about like why it's important also to coffee. Yeah. I don't have any coffee here. No, let's start with old one. I don't want that. You know what? No. But I have one more question. Now we talked about like, especially like addressing things right away. Maybe in a lot of scenarios, it's good to have a personal conversation, it being eye to eye or on the phone. But maybe you can also think of a scenario where you think written communication is always a good idea. When would you usually choose a medium of email or Slack just to have something written down?
I think my first thought when you asked that question was that very often let's say you and me, we need to have a discussion, a discussion about something, and then when we have had the discussion, I very often wrap that up in an email.
Yeah.
Just to be very clear, like, okay, now we have talked about it, and like, do we see? Because it could be good to summarize it in written, and I would say it depends. Like, if it's like a manager, like a boss conversation, then I always apply that. Because it's so important, like 2 months later, when we probably have a similar discussion, it's very easy that it just get to a stage where we have two different ideas of what we actually talked about, and then it's so good that we agreed on it in written. So I think it depends why we are having the conversation, and I'm a bit careful writing, because it takes a lot of time, and we have been talking about managing your time management earlier in we touched that topic in the last episode as well, I think. So sometimes if I write, I could be very short, because it's also about speed. And, and sometimes people say, "Oh, can you please add some emojis in there at least?"
So funny, because
like,
I was just
do
thinking.
you know how long it takes to do emojis?
Oh, Mattias, is so funny, because this is something we talked about before, and also like David and I, like, if you don't know, David is also working for Mattias and also worked at IGMU before. Like, it's kind of an internal joke here. Like, whenever we get a Slack message from Mattias, it's like usually very short to the point, and sometimes randomly you just send an emoji afterwards. I think it's so funny because we laughed about it. Like, we know why. You're like, oh, that sounded serious. Let's add an emoji.
Yeah, it's actually no, it's not that.
No,
it's because David he gave me feedback that he wants an emoji.
Okay.
So I put that emoji. It's for him.
We appreciate it. It's nice. Okay.
It's not because it sounds serious. The emoji is just for David.
Okay. I'll take one too. I like an emoji.
Okay, I promise to send you an emoji as well.
All right. I think the takeaway of this episode is send emojis. No, it's decide on like the nature of the conversation. What is the right tool to use? Did I wrap this up correctly, or how would you say that?
Yeah, never wait, and let the reason steer the communication option.
That sounded better. Let's take that one. All right, then thank you for watching. And if you like what we're doing, as always, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a future episode. And and did we forget something? Comment if you want to know something or have any ideas for future episodes. Right, thanks for that. Okay, and see you in the next one, I hope, for more fun episodes. See you, Mattias.
Okay, see you, Svea.
Bye-bye.
See you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Now we know the mysterium about the emoji.
Yes.
Yeah, funny.
So I think I remember that. I don't know if it was in an anonymous survey or something. Like, someone said that, like, oh, Mattias, he can sound so serious. He could at least add an emoji or something.
Yeah, that's.
I think that's David. So I after that I always adding emojis, but it doesn't really come natural. So I often drop it. Like it's like I want to make it like a statement. First is the serious part, and then I dropped it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not, the emoji is not a part of the sentence. Because the sentence, it's serious and nice,
Yeah.
and then there's an emoji.
Okay.
It's like the cherry on the cake, kind of. Do you understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how I work.